Okay, I might as well stretch this one over until about 5:15, maybe, if I'm lucky enough. So right now it's about 4:48 in the morning. I can barely see the damn clock. Yes, it is. It's still the 21st of June, 2022. The Weaver John C. And I was doing nearly an hour's worth of recording with a microphone up. I just discovered it at the end of it. I'm like, you got what? Because sometimes the sound doesn't work very well when the boom is up. I mean, I'll catch it if the voice is loud enough. But sometimes I have to keep it quiet enough for the neighbors around over here, even though they do like to. I was talking about dogs, I was talking about pets, and I was trying to talk to a friend of mine, trying to get her, trying to just say, I know what you're going through. I understand. Been through it, done that. And it is a big deal. It is a big deal. I have been trying to do these recordings ever since I lost Dave back in 2018. I mean, I'm doing a hell of a lot of audio recordings on these things, left and right, but just for my own personal usage. But the idea came to me of doing video. It's like, why not? Talk about your feelings. I mean, I was seeing something on television, I whipped out the phone, and I started blubbering all over the damn thing. Then I decided to post it. What the hell? But the idea stuck with me. The idea stuck with me of recording my thoughts and my feelings down. And why not share them? Why not save them? If I'm going to be doing the audio recordings like crazy and that Kristen cuss like a son of a bitch, why not this? Why not show exactly who and what I am? And don't be afraid about it. Don't be ashamed about it. Just do what you got to do. That's what I've been doing. I mean, I don't have the greatest followers. I probably got about zero at this point. Or anybody else who actually cares about what mental illness is, what people go through, not to mention grieving process. And I can't tell you how many times I've complained about this one online. How people grieve in their own ways is one thing, though. But I tell you, society in general doesn't know how to deal with grief or loss. They don't even understand about the depression. I mean, I know the doctors are trying to do all the clinical testing and research they can to get the clinical antiseptic, ugh, inhumane. They follow the teachings of Sigmund Freud and others in his generation of doing psychotherapy and trying to understand the id, the super id, the ego, the screwed up portions of the brain, how they're storing the material, what they're storing, in what form or fashion, and how they're affecting the person tremendously. What could be triggering the person to thinking or feeling or going through these damn sessions. I mean, hell, growing up as a kid, I've been watching different shows and hearing about different people I know killing themselves with no apparent reason. Or they leave a note, and it's a bad head. They leave a note, they leave a note, they leave a note, they leave a note. That's the thing. That's the general thing we're used to is, did they happen to leave a note? Somewhere they'll give us an indication why. They probably were telling the indication why during the process, but you didn't even bother to listen or even pay attention much. That's the problem. They don't. They don't know. They don't care. There's no empathy. There's no feeling. There's no humanity in it. You look for the intellectual crap trying to solve your damn puzzle there. But it's not that. It's in here. But they're not looking for it. They haven't seen it, and they complain about it. It's like it gets every year it gets worse and worse. Not with the numbers of people dying left and right, but people trying to analyze and figure this shit out, trying to be more scientific about the damn thing. There's nothing scientific about grief. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no numbers about loss, except maybe how many people have lost their lives in different ways, forms, or fashion. But they lost their lives. And when they try to talk to the survivors about it, oh my God, it's like eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich day after day after day after day. It gets monotonous dealing with the reactions left and right, or the platitudes, or the condolences. I don't want the damn platitudes and condolences. I want a reality check. The reality check for me at this point over here is if I actually lost a person, how does it make me feel? How close was I to that particular person? How close was I to that particular pet? You know, pets are deemed second class citizens of sorts next to humans. When it comes time for grieving and loss, it's the people's reaction around, like, oh, you lost your dog. Oh, I'm sorry. Have a new one. You'll feel much better. Can you do that to your own human loss? There's only so much pain and loss you can take before you can try getting another one to substitute. You can't substitute a human being for another one, but you can do that and trade the pets like commodity for that. I know I talked a hell of a lot about the differences on that one, didn't I? No? Did I ever say something about my mom? How she was trying to deal with the thing? How she wanted to solve her own damn pain at this point over here, and she saw someone else's pain behind a cage door, and then she's got to go for him. That's how it is. We want to take care of the animals of the world, fine. We got to take care of the animals we got right now as it is. We don't want to make them into martyrs. We don't want to make them into survivors. We sure as hell don't want to kill them. However, I do know that there are some cultures out there that look at the animals as in food. I'm not a vegan, but when I look at the dogs and cats, mostly dogs, I don't look at them as food. I look at them as potential family members. But I had a neighbor with a different culture who looked at the dogs as food. I'm sorry, I can't deal and cope with that. I know I'm a meat eater, but I'm selective. But even then, I gotta cut it out for some things. Even green's gotta have some kind of thing for me. My mother looked at the dogs as a panacea. Okay, let's try that again. I'm already having tooth problems right now as it is. So I'm having speech issues. I'm having speech impediments. And the impediment I've got right now is this. Dogs used as substitution for human pain. My mother did it. Every 2 or 3 weeks, every time she lost one, we got to get a new one. Boys, come on, let's go over to the shelter. Let's get a new one. I can't deal with the pain any longer. Makes you want to adopt every damn animal in the entire world. It's still not enough. One has to be enough. That's what we did. One was enough. Or 2 or 3. Depending on how charitable our landlord felt. But I can't look at pets like that, and I can't look at the situation like that. I know I'm going to grieve for a hell of a long while, and I've been grieving for a hell of a long while. Even while I had other pets around me, I still grieved for that lost one because they're so special to me. We deal with grief on different levels that we realize, that we don't realize actually. When grieving with a pet is a different one than grieving with a human being. How close were you to that human being next to your pet? And if it's a pet, are you going to be able to function in society quicker than it was dealing with a human being? Oh, I'm sorry, you dealt with a human being. Maybe we'll give you maybe 1 or 2 weeks of bereavement time. But then again, you got to get back to work. Because production, 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 production. Let's get that whip on your back. You think you know pain? Here comes the corporate pain. Profit and loss, profit and loss, profit and loss. Money, 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 money. Oh, I'm sorry. How long ago did you lose your brother? Oh, I'm sorry. Have some cake. Have a pint on me, pal. We'll go over to a bar and celebrate or commiserate. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to my brother. I could sure as hell couldn't do that to my mama. Everybody else had their own way of trying to deal with the grief and loss of their own family members. Cousins of mine out in San Diego County had lost both their parents. But during this time, they have already become parents and grandparents now, and maybe great-grandparents. Congratulations to them both. But they probably would understand what pain and loss is and how much it affects them both. They just don't affect it much because they've got so much in front of them right now that they have that they're not going to think about it from time to time because they think they're healed and the wounds are still there, but not as accessible. In dealing with my family's loss compared to someone else who's already got an established family to shelter them, to shelter their own feelings, their own experiences. Totally different things altogether. Unless, of course, they lost their entire core family. And I'm talking about including the grandkids and then their own kids. And maybe another level up. It's that kind of deep pain that I deal with on a constant basis. I had not had any relationships, no relatives, no dependents, no nieces, no nephews. Not coming out of my loins anyway. Nothing. And as close as I was becoming to my mother, I was close enough to her. I was also close to my brother as well. Well, we didn't try to kill each other. We argue with each other, but that's about it. Talking about grief also hurts because we have to focus on what portion of it. What portion of it was kicking our ass? What portion of it was tearing us down a bit? I've heard people tell me, get a life, get a life, get a life. Before and after, I lost my mother and my brother. I said I had a life. I'm living my life. I lost mine and struggled and still had David and started trying to keep him alive, and then he's gone. He's gone. So now I got to deal with the loss of that. I got to deal with the family's loss. I got to deal with my own personal loss. And I'd be screaming out, how the hell am I supposed to be able to deal with this? I deal with it because I have to deal with it. There's no other choice. I know someone's going to say, well, how do you do that? What's, there is no what. You just deal. You cope. You cry if you have to. You bawl your head off. You sob. You get up off your keister, and sometimes you have to walk around, maybe aimlessly, but you still get exercise. Take care of a few things here and there. If you're a caregiver to your pets, you take care of them. One way or another, they'll take care of you. I know. You're depressed. I want to go back to bed and sleep. I know right now I want to do that myself. But I wanted to get this one video out to explain a little bit further. And to understand that now I've got a microphone in front of my face. But I have to understand, I have to keep telling people that we're all not alone in this. We all have people that we love severely. I did say the word severely. I mean, we're talking at levels deeper than anything else we know about. So when we lose them, or we're in the process of losing them, it hurts like hell because now we're feeling the tear in our hearts. We're feeling the tears in our souls at this point over here. We can't deal with that level of pain. It's no wonder that some people actually do commit suicide because they don't want to deal with it. In dealing with a pain like that, it's like taking your heart out of your chest and putting it into a Cuisinart while it's still beating, and then grinding it up, and somehow you feel the effects of that. Yeah, it's, I know, a bit gross, but that's what I kept telling people for a hell of a long while because I couldn't figure out what exact feelings I'm dealing with concerning about grief, about loss, about losing a family member so important to me that I can't identify specifically the example or the feeling. All I know is I'm getting overwhelmed, so I have to deal with it. And I have to deal with everything else that comes, including my decision on how to take care of my health, which has gone downhill. It's been going downhill ever since, but longer than that. So now I got to deal with the after effects of my body falling apart, literally, starting with the teeth. Then after that, we'll see what other kind of body part will fall off next, as I'm living and deteriorating and surviving. Until eventually I'll be in so many damn pieces, maybe God will decide, okay, let's chuck him in a garbage can or else we'll salvage his ass somehow. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, bed calls, I sleep.